Time to now spice up your story with Angel's Cocktail. 5 must-haves for an effective story selling. Now, storytelling is not just talking, it's how humans have always connected. Before Google, WhatsApp, or endless forwards, there were stories, right? Cave paintings 10,000 years ago, humans drew buffaloes on the walls, not for fun, but to pass on the knowledge. Kids' books, no one reads manuals on how to be good. They learn through Goldilocks, Panchtantra, Akbar Birbal, all these stories. Religious texts, Bhagavad Gita, Quran, Bible, Guru Granth Sahib, they all teach through stories because facts go to the brain and stories go straight to the heart. And that's why storytelling is unforgettable. Now, business have gotten that. Think of ads that you can never forget: Cadbury Dairy Milk, the girl dancing on the cricket field, Saffola oil, right? Um, the Nirma, famous Nirma ad, Hema, Rekha, Jaya, Sushma. You didn't just hear it, you sang along, right? So they were selling feelings. And here is the example from real life. I want you to listen to this very perfect example that will help us dissect these 5 must-haves for effective storytelling. Now, this is a Hollywood actor telling a story that makes you lean in, laugh, and care. So, this is a 1 minute clip. Um, the London customs agent could not believe that John Krasinski is married to Emily Blunt.
Good. Please, they don't have to tell me. The customs agent in London did. I don't know if you know, Emily just shot a movie. It's a small indie called Mary Poppins, and I went to visit her all the time. I was shooting something else, but I went almost every weekend, and it was going great. The customs whole experience is whatever.
You got to get through customs.
Yeah. And then I hit this guy who's about my age, and he looked like he was ready to get a little surly with me. And he said, "Says here that you're an actor." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Would I know you from anything?" And I went, we redid the UK version of The Office. Strike one. He was like, "Oh,
I hated that version.
You took what we did perfect." And then I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Who are you visiting here?" I said, "My wife." And he says, "Is she an actress?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Would I know her?" And I don't know, man. Her name's Emily Blunt. He goes, "You?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, You married Emily Blunt." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes like this. "Okay, go. Let's go." Like the stamp was so hard. I was like, "I'm so sorry."
Not breaking eye contact.
We'll take the 5 must-haves from this clip. Now, the common mistakes are people screw up storytelling because they tell it like boring PowerPoint, sometimes flat, lifeless, forgettable. They dump facts with zero emotion, or they forget to paint the scene, right? So you want to make people see, feel, and live the moment. Now, the 5 must-haves of the storytelling is number 1, the location. Where is this happening? Let people step into the world. The action, what's actually happening? Running, freezing, panic, smirk, bring it to life. The raw, unfiltered thoughts, what's running through your head? Your inner monologue, right? The emotion, the fear, excitement, confidence, the nervous sweat, and the dialogue. What are the exact words that people said? Nothing feels more real than overhearing a conversation, isn't it? Right? The general manager factory story that we discussed earlier had all 5 elements. That's why it worked. So now the magic here is Angel's Cocktail. When you tell a story, you're not just sharing words, you're activating hormones that make people connect, trust, feel the joy, and act. The cocktail is endorphins. Inducing what? Endorphins with laughter, with joy, inducing dopamine with motivation, curiosity, the drive to act, oxytocin with connection, trust, compassion, empathy, serotonin with pride, satisfaction, strong endings, testosterone with power, confidence, victory. So how do you inject these? You use the 5 must-haves intentionally. That's one of the starting points, right? So location sets the scene, primes the audience mind. Action, movement sparks the dopamine, testosterone. The raw thoughts where vulnerability also triggers oxytocin. The emotions like fear, excitement, joy hits endorphins, oxytocin, serotonin. The dialogue, the real words, the trust and connection. So, quick tip as you craft your story, ask yourself, where can I make them laugh? Where can I spark action or curiosity? Where can I connect deeply? Where can I make them feel proud or satisfied? Where can I make them feel powerful or victorious? So sprinkle this throughout your story, and that's where, and throughout the story, depending on, again, who is your audience, what action do you want them to take? So that's your Angel's Cocktail. Sprinkle them throughout your story, wherever it's required, depending on who's your audience, what action do you want them to take, what's the current resistance or objections for that matter, right? Awesome. So remember, when you're crafting your story frame, remember to include these 5 must-haves. And just one of the examples here, instead of saying, I was nervous before my first client call, you could say something like, I was pacing in my tiny living room, my laptop open, waiting for Zoom to start. What if they ask something I don't know? My stomach was tight, my hands were sweating. Then my inner voice screamed, just start talking, Latika. You know this, right? So you would think, where does, this trigger endorphin or dopamine or oxytocin? So record your story, write it down, and share it in the Facebook group. I would love to see that, review it, and give you feedback. All right, time to perfect that story, the story frame rather. Now that you have a winning pastor story selling frame, you've done your money-making research, you have also crafted irresistible offer, you've also spiced up your story. Think of it, the story frame, as an engine, right? Once this engine is effective, running smoothly, you've gotten feedback, it's working, you can drop it into any vehicle you choose. Your vehicle could be an introduction when you meet somebody, your elevator pitch, right? How you introduce yourself in various contexts, your one-to-many webinars or seminars or live, your one-to-one call where you close the deals and pitch, your social media content that connects and converts. But the power doesn't come only from the vehicle. It comes from how strong your engine is, your story, right? So here's your task. Go back to the story selling frame, the pastor frame, fill it out completely, share your story inside the Facebook group. Once you post it, tag me, mention Story Audit, so me and my team can review and give you direct feedbacks. And I would love to do it even in person. Come for the live Q&A and get it audited live. This is where the magic happens, really. Will help you tighten your message, amplify your emotion, and make your story unforgettable. In the next session, I'll show you exactly how I turned a complete stranger into a $1,500 client inside a hotel washroom. And you'll also see how story selling frame in real time to build trust, connect instantly, and close with ease, right? Because you don't need fancy funnels or big marketing budgets, some high-tech setup to launch or build or, make a decent amount of revenue in your own passion business, right? For scaling, of course, yes. But even for that too, all you need is the right story that sticks. And you scale it from there. So go perfect your story, post it for review, share it, come live. for the sessions and get it reviewed. I'll see you in the next session where we turn your story into a client magnet.